Hello and welcome to the End Step. Maria, Simon, and Rich here at Mythic Championship Cleveland. Well, our top 8 is set, and I've got to say, it seems like a sweet top 8, Rich.
It really, really does. And the way it's going to work out, because we've now looked at the bracket, as it were. So you're going to see Reed Duke kick off in the morning against Alex Majleton. You're going to see Autumn Burchett of England up against Julien Berthaud of France. That's one half of the bracket. The other half of the bracket sees Yoshihiko Ikawa of Japan up against Michael Bonda from Denmark, and Marcio Carvalho against Luis Scott Vargas. Those are your quarterfinal matchups. Make sure you set your alarm for tomorrow. So yeah, that's the shape of things there.
All right, well, it's time to crown a card of the day, and for that we turn to Simon.
I don't think that was a particularly tough choice, Maria. I went with Curious Obsession because that's the card that makes Mono Blue what it is. And Mono Blue for me was the breakout deck of the tournament. Team Ultimate Guard was almost celebrating a little bit too early because they thought they had picked the perfect deck for this metagame. In the end, only Reed Duke made that top 8, but we have 3 Mono Blue decks in the top 8 overall.
Why is this card so, I was going to almost say oppressive? It's a 1-drop. It's an aura.
You mean why can I not sleep at night? Because I have these nightmares of turn 2 Curious Obsession.
Yeah.
It's a snowbally kind of effect. And the whole deck is built around pushing that advantage. That's actually the definition of a tempo deck, right? You get a tiny sliver of an advantage, and then you just keep grinding down your opponent's defenses with those Spell Pierces and those Wizard's Retorts.
And let's be honest, Maria, if anyone at this desk is going to know about the power of auras, it's you.
That's true, and I do love this card, and when it was previewed, I remember thinking, all right, well, Boggles has got to go into blue. I mean, it's just that good, and really cool to see it here shining kind of on the standard stage. Do you think people who picked Mono Blue made the right call for this weekend?
Absolutely, no question about that. It was already the second most played deck or third most played deck on day 1, but 3 copies in the top 8, that's huge.
All right, well, it's not only an individual tournament. Of course, we've got the team series to think about too, and BDM is checking in on the leaders.
Thanks, Maria. Our team of the day this weekend is going to be Team Hallelujah Latin. When we did our team preview at the start of the weekend, we talked about how the team that was in the finals last season, along with Ultimate Guard, was in 28th place coming into this event. They did not have a great showing at Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica. But here at Mythic Championship Cleveland, well, the tides have turned a little bit, and Marcio Carvalho, the #1 seed, going into the top 8 tomorrow. He's done 3 of the last 4 Mythic Championships where he's made it to the top 8 and just carrying this team up the standings and possibly drawing them back into a position to go back to the finals when the year's over. We'll see how it goes, but Team Hallelujah Latin on their great comeback here from that shaky start, they're our team of the day.
Really cool story there. Thank you so much, BDM. But what about our match of the day? For that, we always turn to Tim and Riley, and I bet they have a good one.
Orlando Realm, Calrissian King. It's up to you. I mean,
Trick came from Luis Scott Vargas. The first time he was in the feature match area, that was in Limited. His deck did not look impressive, and with that, he ran out of one of his chances to potentially make top 8. He got back in the area, though, but he found himself up against Martin User.
Yes, indeed. So Martin User playing a Sultai, I think it was, and LSV Luis, a bit of a blast from the past from him. He brought a deck, Is it Phoenix, that would have been legal at the last Mythic Championship, which was a pretty prescient choice given how overrun Standard currently is with point removal. Arclight Phoenix is in a great spot. But one of the things that we saw during this match between these two Titans, not only a very friendly and relaxed atmosphere, Luis playing with an open hand after a Thought Erasure or Duress or something, but Luis demonstrated his mastery of timing, resource management, and playing from behind. And what you're going to get out of going back and watching this particular match is a showcase of how to play a very difficult and complicated deck from every position, behind, in front, at parity. There's so much to learn and so much to take away from these two masters. Our match of the day, Tim, to Luis Scott Vargas against Martin User, it really, really was one for the ages.
Yeah, round 12, check it out. And of course, check out all the coverage tomorrow. We're going to get to see a little bit more from Luis.
Thanks so much, Tim and Riley. Well, what about our player of the day? For that, we head once again to BDM.
That was great.
Our player of the day, Autumn Burchett. Autumn, I feel like we talked Thursday, we talked Friday, we're talking again Saturday. This is a good sign that your weekend's going really well. What have you been able to turn your phone on yet?
My battery is now depleted from refreshing Twitter, so apologies to anyone I'm not responding to. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, what happened?
So funny. We're sitting here and waiting, to come on the air, and the standings are up behind us, and Autumn's just kind of staring at the standings and going, "Wow, that's a crazy top 8." You're like you're just impressed by how stacked it is, and you're a part of it. Has it sunk in yet that this has all been happening?
Give it a few more hours or days or something, and maybe it's a bit surreal right now.
Now, let me ask you something, because in a serious question, Magic is, we talked about this idea, like it's getting to the next step,
Yes.
How do you keep this exuberance, right, this thrill from overwhelming you as you have to play against, the likes of Reed Duke, Marcio Carvalho, Michael Bonda, someone you lost to in the Swiss? How do you keep that sort of tunnel vision approach that a Magic player needs to succeed in a tournament?
It's really challenging. Honestly, it's something I've had to train over the last couple of years. It was actually something I really struggled with for a time. After I finished 11th at Pro Tour Battle for Zendika, my results dipped like crazy because I just felt the pressure of feeling like I had to live up to that result again. And over time, you just have to learn just focus on the game you're in, turn by turn on the decisions. Everything outside of that you can return to once the game's over. But until the game's over, just tunnel vision and focus on what's in front of you.
What's the plan overnight? Who's going to be helping you prepare for this top 8? What resources are you going to be deploying to tackle this field?
My teammate Aaron Barrich, I prepared with them for this tournament. They said that the plan is to come find me, figure out what I want to do for dinner, and then get into some games. Honestly, I feel really comfortable with the deck, and I need to look through the deck lists from top 8. I'm not sure I need much specific preparation because I've already done all the matchups. Right. But seeing if there's any weird tech in the lists and being aware of it would be very helpful.
Certainly start looking at those sideboards too.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, so you said haven't been able to talk to people on phone. Anybody you want to address a message to who's not here? Is there anything you want to say to people all over the world who've been cheering you? There's a lot of emotional reaction to the interview we did a couple rounds ago where you were talking about that climb from F&M player to now a Mythic Championship top 8 competitor. Is there anything you want to say to people at home?
This may take a moment.
It's okay.
Big thank you to Aaron Barrich and my teammate from Axion Now, George Channing, for both testing with me a ton. I really appreciate the support. Big thank you to my sponsors, Axion Now. Big thank you to all the subscribers to my stream, my Knights of Autumn. And for the longest time I identified as a trans woman. And when I came out as non-binary a couple years ago, it's because I felt like it was unfair to be denying that representation to people when it just means a lot that I don't know how to finish the sentence. I'm really happy that a trans person and a non-binary person has finally top 8 at one of these things. I don't know where to go with that, sorry.
That's okay. Congratulations. You're an inspiration to Magic players and binary and non-binary people all over the world. Great job this weekend and continued success on Sunday, Autumn. It's been so much fun talking to you, and I look forward to talking to you some more tomorrow. So
Thank you.
good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Important public service announcement. If you can't find it in your cold, dead, shriveled hearts to think how fantastic it is that Autumn Burchett is the first non-binary trans person to make the top 8 of an event like this, perhaps you can find it in your hearts to think that this is fantastic, that this is the first time that an Autumn Burchett has made it to the top 8 of an event like this. But either way, it is a phenomenal achievement, and we can't wait to see Autumn and the rest of the top 8 tomorrow. Now, we have 4 players in their first top 8s. Autumn is one, of course. We have Michael Bonder, Julien Berthaud, and Alex Majleton. So they are the 4 underdogs, Simon. But then you've got Yoshihiko Ikawa with 2, Reed Duke with 4, Marcio Carvalho with 6, and just casually as he sauntered on to the top 8 stage, Luis Scott Vargas, number 10.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unreal.
It's just, he came last time, he came in second, and, it just wasn't good enough. We got to do one better yet again here for Luis. And a lot of times, we're playing in these fantasy leagues like, oh, who are we going to pick for this? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to pick Luis. Like, he top-8'd last time. He can't do it again. What a stupid thing to think.
Gambler's fallacy.
The good news is, Autumn and I have been chatting, and we've agreed going to win Game 5 against Luis in the final tomorrow.
Okay, great.
So that'll take care of that. So we are at the end of day 2 of this extraordinary event. We are down, as we always are at these events, to our last 8. You'll see Marcio Carvalho from Portugal, America's Reed Duke, Autumn Burchett of the United Kingdom, Yoshihiko Ikawa of Japan, Michael Bonder from Denmark, Julien Berthaud from France, and more American representation, Alex Majleton in his first, Luis Scott Vargas in his 10th. Whether in your number 1, your number 1-0, or whether it's not about being binary or non-binary, we are going to see a fantastic top 8 tomorrow. Don't you dare miss a turn of a critical card. For everyone here on the team, Rich Hagan saying bye.